Hey guys, it's Alyssa. Today I'm going to be telling you what judges look for at cheer tryouts and how they actually pick the team. Also, side note, I know I look abnormally cozy right now. It's because it's getting cold in Southern California and I really just was lazy and I just threw on this crew neck from Utah. Utah's a beautiful place, you should visit. So let me tell you how I came to this idea of filming this video. So as many of you know, I am a second year in college at a community college. I'm applying to transfer in fall 2019. So I'm going to be graduating in June. So that means right now I am filling out college applications, or I already filled out my Cal States and my UCs. Throughout this time, I have been doing a lot of internet research. I have been looking up so many videos about college applications and what should go on your application, and what I was really looking for and what really helped me the most and what gave me the best idea of, oh, I think I know how to go about this, was finding videos of admissions officers saying what they look for and them breaking down the admissions process. And if this is a helpful thing, and I thought, if I'm here trying to have the best college application, looking for videos of these admissions officers telling me exactly how they judge, it would just make so much sense if I showed from a judge's perspective what judges look for at cheer tryouts. I say judge's perspective because I personally have judged a few tryouts before. So I know how it works, I know the process, I know what the coaches say. I have been a judge at tryouts a few times, so I think I have a good understanding of what a judge would look for because I guess I was a judge. So what do judges look for when they are judging cheer tryouts? Now, mind you, different cheer tryouts work in different ways and each judging panel has their different ways of judging. For example, a lot of programs have a score sheet where they rank everything out of 5, 10, jumps, they got 4 out of 5, stunting, they get 9 out of 10. It all depends on your school, but I know some places do, in fact, do things like that. That's just obvious stuff. Aside from the score sheets, that's not what determines the fate of you getting on the team in reality. The main thing that I can say that will keep you stuck in the judge's mind is leaving an impression or an imprint in their head in a certain area where they're just forced to remember you. Obviously in a positive way, but any way you can get a judge to remember you is a really good thing. Your attitude is a really good way to show this. Having a really good attitude and smiling a lot is something that not a lot of cheerleaders who are trying out do as much anymore, which is kind of sad, or at least the programs that I've been around. Smiling, I feel has just kind of diminished. You will definitely stand out to the judges if you have a good attitude. In a lot of cases, and I've stressed this a lot in my other cheer advice videos, in a lot of cases, an attitude or an outlook on cheerleading or your excitement for cheerleading or your passion or your drive can override a lot of determining factors. For example, if someone with a really amazing attitude doesn't have any tumbling, but then there's also this other candidate who has great tumbling, but she does not look like she wants to be there, has a horrible attitude, then honestly, they're kind of evened out at this point. You may not feel like it, but the chances are kind of equal. So keep that in mind. It's to be assumed that if you have high tumbling skills, good jumps, good stunting, then obviously it's thought to believe that you have an advantage, which is true. However, you can somehow make yourself equivalent to anybody because everyone has the same fair shot to get on that team as anybody else. Everybody in the judging room is treated equally and judged equally. So obviously skill is what a big portion of what cheer tryouts are all about, because cheer tryouts do take a lot of training. It's not an easy sport to do. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. A lot of people have been cheering since they were little. But as I stated in my how to become a cheerleader with no cheer experience video, it is possible to make the team without having like all the skills. Please do not think that you have no chance if you don't have the skills. I cannot stress this enough. If you go in not confident, then that's gonna be what brings you down and lowers your chances. You not being confident, you not having that back tuck that other girl or guy has is not what's gonna bring you down or lower your chances. Your attitude and your confidence is what's gonna do that. Personally, as being a judge, I noticed that if someone is just stellar in a specific area, the judges are gonna remember that, and they are likely to bring up your name when talking about who they should take on the team, because they're gonna remember you and they're gonna be like, oh, that girl had really good jumps, or that girl had really good tumbling. That girl was really sharp. That girl was a really good back spot. Notice how all these got brought up in the same subject, and attitude and sharpness were still on there. They're on the same level. If you can just stand out in a certain way, that will just help you so much. It doesn't have to be the best tumbler in the world, but standing out is something that is so crucial a part of the judging process. Judges really look for a teammate who is passionate, driven, dedicated, someone who you can obviously tell loves cheerleading and loves the sport. And trust me, the judges know, like we know, we can just tell by the way you're trying out, the way you carry yourself when you're trying out, the way that your facial expression is, the way of your sharpness, the way you say the cheer. You can tell. And the judges are really gonna want people who embody the passion that is cheerleading. And I know there are schools that are very highly selective and will only choose people that have certain skills. And that is the case for some certain schools, because I know some schools may require fulls, level 5 or 6 stunting skills. And that is an instance where skills kind of dominate the recruiting process. And I'm not saying that skills are not important, because they most certainly are. I know for my high school, we had it required, or like I would just say required. It was on the packet that you had to have a round off handspring tuck and working on a standing tuck and like a cartwheel tuck to be on varsity cheer. But I was on varsity cheer and I didn't have that. You guys know that I'm really passionate about cheerleading, and that was a reason that they kept me on varsity. Obviously, I was really driven and I was like so determined to like get my skills, so they knew that about me, and I was working on my tucks the entire time, all season, so it really just depends. Judges really also look for team players. They don't just look for the other normal factors that you think of when you think of cheer tryouts. They look for players that are going to be well working with the team. They're not gonna want someone who is kind of like more negatively independent and doesn't really want to cooperate, obviously. So just make sure that you sell yourself to be a hardworking teammate, and we want to see that you're communicating with the other girls, helping each other out. Like, we want to see teamwork and encouraging each other and helping each other. I know when I was on All-Star Cheer sophomore year, my cheer coach really stressed to me how important it was about encouraging your teammates. My All-Star Cheer coach really shaped me so well and taught me so many things. Like, the way he shaped our team was to the point where it wasn't normal for nobody to be just encouraging while you're stunting. Literally, at any practice, at any given time, if there was a stunt going on, you bet there was at least like 5 voices screaming out, like, you can do it, you got this, don't give up, stay tight, you can do it. Like, just screaming from like every corner in like the most positive way. That is something that is just like so awesome to me. Like, Judges are really gonna appreciate when you encourage your teammates and you act like a team player. I just wanna say this again as like a disclaimer. Having jumps, tumbling, good stunting, good motions is something that is very important when you're trying out for cheer, and that will help you so much during the process of picking the team. However, I feel like we all kind of already know that, so I just like to give more information on what's beyond that, because there's so much more to that. I know I'm talking a lot about other stuff other than like tumbling. I just like to give more things from a different perspective, like advice, because I know there's so much more than the typical like idea of what you should have at cheer tryouts, and I'm here to share that with you. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Oh, another good thing, when we are judging, something else we look for is presentation. And you might be like, wait a second, they judge the way you look? No, not like that. They don't judge you by your looks. That is totally not the case. But they do judge how you present yourself, because it really just emphasizes and kind of like expresses like how much you care about it. If you really want it, you're gonna take the time to like present yourself well and like put yourself together, and it's gonna show that you really want this and you have a lot of dedication and passion for the sport and for the cheer tryout. Judges also take into account like whether you are responsible or not, and they can tell this if you turn in your tryout packet and stuff like that on time, and if you're on time to the actual tryout, because it's really rude to be late. And honestly, like, I'm being so serious, like if you are late to a tryout, like even by a little bit, it is gonna like leave kind of a mark on the judges, especially if you're one of the only ones. Like, that is like a negative mark. But I understand that accidents happen, and maybe it wasn't your fault that you were late. Maybe they were stuck in traffic. Maybe like you couldn't get your parents out the door, because I know that happens to me so much. Don't get so discouraged if you are a little bit late though, and say, oh my god, my chances are over. I already have like a strike in their head. That should just motivate you to do better. That should just motivate you to try to be your very best, and it will be okay, trust me. Try your best to plan ahead, because forgetting things like your application, your paperwork, your donation, or being late will kind of leave a first impression on the judges' minds that you don't want. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's progressively been getting darker in here, and I hope it just doesn't get black. Okay, now we're gonna move on to a little more juicy stuff. So, everyone's tried out, everyone's waiting outside, or you've gone home if there's like a day 2 callback thing, whatever. It's just the judges, your applications and pictures, the notes that they write. Yes, most judging panels do take notes on you. So make sure that you do something that is worth taking a positive note over, such as being really sharp or smiling. Having good notes is really awesome. Or having really good jumps or really good tumbling. They're gonna write that down. They're gonna like scribble that down. So yeah, once it's just the judges and all their notes and the files and the pictures of all the teammates, you might be thinking, what happens next? So what actually does happen when it's just the judges and the paperwork? The judges collaborate together and go one by one assessing each girl. They talk about each girl and maybe what their strengths were, what they could have worked on, and then they take that into account, maybe jot some other things down. And I know this sounds scary. This sounds like a horror book for cheerleaders. I don't mean to scare you. As they go through these, I'm just gonna call them applications. As they go through these forms, applications of people who are trying out, they kind of sift through them. First, they release the girls' applications who they kind of know aren't the best fit for the team. You get to narrowing it down to who they really want the team to be. And this is when it gets a little bit more difficult, because then you're deciding who gets a spot over another person, basically. And at this point, it goes down to the little things like, oh, that girl didn't have the best attitude, or I think we should take this person because of so-and-so reason. Or maybe this person has better tumbling skills, or this person has cheer experience, or like vice versa for any of those. Really focus on the little things when you're trying out for cheer, because once you make it into that like bottom cut of like people that they are going to decide whether makes the team, then it comes down to the little things. And I'm just gonna share things from my personal experience judging, because I find like talking about or hearing about personal experiences really eases my mind or just makes me have a really clear view of things. So I'm going to share my personal judging stories with you. So I remember when I was judging my last cheer tryout in the summer, when we were at that point where we kind of sifted out the people that weren't the best fit for the team, and we were on to the determining factors. At least for Coast, when I judged there, the determining factors were a lot about your attitude, and they were a lot about your eagerness to be on the team. I remember just talking with the coach and like overhearing the coach talking with like other judges as well, and just having them decide like who was making the team and who was not. Like, oh, it was just like kind of scary to me, because I know how it feels to be on the other side. Like, I am a girl who tries out every single year for a cheer team, and then to like be a judge and hear like a coach like cut somebody was just like, ugh, like, oh my god, because obviously like everyone who tries out for cheer like really wants it, I assume. I don't know, it kind of scared me because it was like really heartbreaking. I hope I gave you guys some good insight on what judges see when they are judging cheer tryouts. If you guys have any questions or any comments or any video requests, anything about any subject of cheer or anything else not like cheer, I kind of want to like also start making more like lifestyle or like beauty videos too, because those are really fun. But yeah, it's getting like really dark, as you can tell. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.